and that's what we need here. And then Dr. Zatumu, Ed, are you here? Right in the middle there? I didn't mention it earlier, but it's not so common that the guy running your operations is a metallurgist. Cliff Nelson is a metallurgist, and Ed, in my opinion, is one of the best metallurgists in the industry. And we have guys that are fanatical about getting 78% versus 75.3% out of the heap leach, right? So we're about production, we're about doing it right. Ed will be at the Merrill Crowe facility, so when you stop on that tour, he'll either step into the bus or some people will step out, and we'll have some conversation about how we actually produce doré bars here on the Comstock. And a bunch of other folks here, and I'll introduce them as we go through, but in terms of our board, they're all here in force today. And please make sure you get a chance to talk to every one of them. John, would you mind just standing up for a minute? As it's shown here, John is the chairman of the board of the Intergroup Corporation. He's our lead investor, and we anticipate that tomorrow, he'll be voted in as chairman of the board of Comstock Mining. So it's a great opportunity to get to know John. Bob, are you in the room? Or okay, Bob Rizet is a 40-year mine engineer and has been essentially our lead director in terms of operations for a very, very long time. He's here all day today. He's very personable. I encourage you to talk to Bob when you're here today, in part because he's the one member that can't be here tomorrow because of the conflict. Bill Nance is the chairman of the board today and will lead the meeting tomorrow. If you don't know Bill, he's just a fantastic guy. Please get to know him. And Scott, right up there on the stairwell. Scott has lived in and around Virginia City for over 30 years. He is the man on the ground that was so instrumental in helping the company pull and consolidate the Comstock, and so well known locally, be it in business, political, or just the community area. So these are the folks that take every opportunity, if it's over a beer or if it's over a glass of water or out on the patio, that you need to know over the pond. Just as a last point on organization, we really have taken, I would say, the final steps in professionalizing the company. All right, there's a lot of bumps and potholes on the way to starting up an exploration company, let alone being a junior producer, right? But we've put most of those bumps behind us. So we've gone from having part-time legal help to one of the best securities law firms in the country with Kelly Dry. We've gone from having a tiny little accounting firm to Deloitte, making sure that when we publish our financial information, it's complete and accurate and as transparent as possible. I think Ken Moelis has already become infamous, in his association with us, but we really appreciate having smart people who are solution-oriented. Whenever I meet conventional people in the industry, they're like, "Why are you dealing with Moelis and Company? They're not a mining banker." No, they're not a mining banker. They're a good banker, right? And that's what helped us restructure our balance sheet, wipe out our debt, right, and give us a very, very strong funded position to do the things I'm about to talk about. We've always dealt with the best. Mike Norad, who's now an employee of the company, founded TechBase. We deal with Gene McClellan directly out of McClellan Labs in Reno. We deal with George Burke directly out of American Assay. And it's not to be understated, right? The best mining companies in the world are in Nevada. They have a long haul to get to Reno to get access to these things. It's just right in our backyard. We play golf with Gene McClellan. Larry talks with George Burke on a weekly basis. So it's not luck that we are at the low end of the cost structure with our exploration activities and on the high end of the speed in terms of responsiveness from these people, right? As good as anybody in the industry, right? And just recently, we're proud to say we got listed on the New York Stock Exchange under the Amex division. And I don't think it's common, when you pick a market maker, we picked Jay Stryker and Company. Usually you do 20-minute interviews. John Winfield insisted that we go to New York and I didn't really expect this, right? But we were on the trading floor for 4 hours, you know, interviewing each one of the market makers, right? So we're really taking this stuff seriously. It's not common. And John even yelled at Bruce because it took longer than we wanted it to, you know, to get listed, but we're happy that we're finally there. So, the main theme that you're going to hear from us today, and you're going to, I think, deduce on your own, is that this district is ridiculously underexplored and that we're ready for production. Most people know this. I'm just going to try to hit to the lowest common denominator. In a 2.5-mile swath of land from Virginia City to right about here, you'll see it in the geological presentations, over 8 million ounces of gold and almost 200 million ounces of silver were extracted from the Comstock, literally with picks, shovels, and pneumatic hammers. Okay, those guys chased visible minerals. They chased visible gold. They stepped in the blue mud. We joke that they tripped over it and stepped in it, right? You couldn't miss it, right? What they did miss is a lot of the minerals that sit around, right, those techniques, the extensions of the district, and literally everything south. We have consolidated now. Sorry. We have consolidated now a 6-mile area of land with over 6,000 acres. And we have been assessing, confirming, and unlocking, if you will, the geological structure of the Comstock in a way that's never been done before. The things that Larry and Mike are going to talk about, the papers that Larry has published, are new. They're not precedented. Okay, the interpretations are new, and they're being validated with every hole that we drill. Okay, so the amount of area that we've drilled and the amount that we're going to drill is night and day. We're just getting started. And this little red area identifies the starter mining areas, which you'll see on the tour. I mentioned that we have 1.1 million of measured and indicated resource and over 1.6 million in total. And you have to understand that only a fraction of the historical data, you know, has either been incorporated or validated into that. So the work that the geologists and the engineers are doing to assess the structure is resulting in us hitting on almost every single hole, right? And I want you to have an appreciation for that, because it's very easy to say, well, Jesus, the Comstock, you know, just go drill anywhere, you're going to hit gold and silver. That's kind of true, but it's not totally true, right? We're saving millions and millions and millions of dollars because these guys have a precise model that they're following. I think Larry's favorite quote shows up in almost every press release is, well, these results validate the model, right? And that's what we want to show you today. So when you think about 1.6 million ounces and you say, well, where is it? Well, 1.2 million of it sits in this area, less than 500 feet from the surface, with extremely low strip ratios, with great metallurgy, all oxide ores that can be processed on our heap leach. Another 200,000 sits on the Dayton resource area, less than 200 feet from the surface. Near surface, good grade, very, very economically extractable. In most cases, this is a company already, it's done, right? And we're just getting started. None of this includes the drilling that's been done since October. The guys are going to show you precisely that we've drilled over 300 holes and over 100,000 feet, none of which is included in any of the numbers that you see on this, right? They're going to take you through how we keep hitting high grades. They're going to take you through some of our plans as we go forward. They're going to peel back some of the interpretations. Now, just as a little bit of a fair warning, right? Most of our presentations have been designed to give you an open overview and let you ask as many questions as you want. On the exploration one, the guys are going to get a little bit more technical. It's a little bit longer, right? But we really want to address some of the real specific questions that people are interested in hearing about. I think you'll find it fascinating. Okay? In Lucerne, we're marching down the path here. We're marching down the path. We're going to have this, we actually just got the mercury permit. The way it works is that the state finalizes it 100% and then sends it to you for final review. They sent it to us for final review yesterday. We reviewed it.